No one sees that coming, particularly the people. There's a great thing about Eddie had here. There are the advice you get. I get advice generally from about 3 or 4 coaches. The advice you get here is when you run through the crowd, when you're getting beaten, the Collingwood supporters are terrific at giving you the greatest advice. And that, funny enough, at the end of the game, there's no, or 3/4 time, we don't need the advice. So, but it's quite comical. But no, I would never have seen that coming at all. I don't think it's a bizarre game of football. We know that, and to go for an hour of football and kick 2 goals, and then go the next hour and kick I don't know whatever it was. I must have the wrong thing there. Yeah, I can't even read it. Yeah, okay. So that's right, 18. So it's bizarre.
So just momentum's just a very powerful thing in football, obviously.
Well, it is, but you've got. We thought we did. I wasn't aware of 63 versus 29 hit-outs. I was certainly not aware of that. But what we did do, we started to close up the gap between the stoppages that were neutral stoppages beforehand, or dominated by Adelaide. So we were able to actually close that gap up, which meant that we're back in the game if we could capitalise on our stoppage work.
It seemed like a pretty sort of sloppy performance with the kicking as well.
Big pun?
It seemed like a pretty sloppy performance by yourself with the kicking as well in the first half.
For shots on goal, you mean? Or?
Shots on goal and the field goal, 15 turnovers.
Yeah, we were just disorganised. I don't know why. It's hard to explain. You know, what is the true Collingwood side? Is it somewhere between the first and second half? I suspect it's probably in the middle of that, which is quite compact, quite good. And Adelaide would probably be the same. That somewhere in between the two halves, they would be their true form. But somehow or another, football finds its way of surprising us all. And I think we trailed by 4 goals into the last quarter, and you end up winning by 40 points or thereabouts. We win by something like that, 40 points. So it's, if I sat down and said to you, well, it was a move, or it was a mood, or it was a one moment, that would be totally incorrect. It would be unfair to Adelaide. It's just that it shuffled around. We're able to get a couple of goals on end, which dragged us back. I still thought we could win the game. I know that might seem surprising, but I still thought we could win the game if we can just bridge that, get that first goal in the last quarter, which we didn't. Once they kick their second one, then your back is totally to the wall. It's not a matter of saving anything. You still have to win it. But I thought once we got the first one back and made it 3, then I reckon we were a chance, because the way we got that one, the way we got the next one was a fairly significant. So from there on out, it was an even game.
So you talked about the stoppages as being the sort of big turning point.
Well, I don't know if it was the turning point. All I'm saying is that we started to close the gap on that. Our use of the ball was better. Our coming out of our back line was better. We were far more calculated in the forward line. We crumbed a lot better in the second half. We were just dreadful at crumbing in the first half. We just expected to take marks. Adelaide don't let you take marks. They are a very disciplined side, which enable them to dictate anything in the air. And once we are able to get players to play where they should have been playing, as opposed to just thinking it's going to happen, and commit themselves to the ball, to the lead, or commit themselves to the ball, we turn something from ordinary into something quite significant.
So you were saying obviously that you always thought you could win the game. So.
Yeah, I thought we can win the game.
So does that affect your mood during the first 3 quarters? Do you sort of suppress any frustration that you might have with the game, knowing that if you just click, you can get it right?
No, it's not a matter of just clicking. That's for the supporters and you guys. It's not a matter of just clicking. Nothing at all will ever be that it just turns it on. It is the methodical way you go about it. You have to hunt harder. You have to tackle better. You have to run better. You have to present yourself in a better position. You have to outnumber your opponents, which we started to do. So it wasn't one magical click the fingers and all of a sudden it happened. Every part of that structure to go forward from there on in. And no one, me inclusive of the players, and no one expected to kick 11 goals. I don't think I've ever been part of the side to kick 11 goals. So, no. I thought if we could run true to the true to the third quarter, defensively and offensively, we could win the game. And that meant kicking probably 5 or 6 goals. Now, when they've kicked the first one, that's gone out to 5. When they kick the second one, it's gone to 6. So we needed to kick 6 to win it. But I still thought if we can just resurrect a couple, you didn't know then from what was going to take place.
How important was the move of Maxwell back to defence and Tarrant forward?
Big one.
How important was the move of Maxwell
Well,
back to defence and Tarrant forward?
as I said to Chris, it's not. I didn't just find it mysteriously out of thin air. It was based on a fair amount of previous knowledge that Nick we know can play in the back half, and we know that Chris Tarrant can play in the front half. So it really wasn't. You didn't have to be a genius to do it. It was just a little bit of luck. Time presented itself. Great contest by Chris Tarrant. I don't think he had a stat in the 3 goals we kicked in the third quarter, but what he did was contest the ball fiercely, which enabled us to crumb it better.
Was it worth starting Maxwell up for?
Was it, or will it be?
Was it today, did you think?
I think under the circumstances of the setups, it's an interesting one. Now you say it and you go, okay, well, let's look at the stats, and you go, well, he had 4 kicks in the first half, and he's had 5 for the rest of the game. Well, sorry, 5 for the first quarter, 5 for the rest of the game. So on balance, it was okay.
Is he a bit frustrated? He looked a bit rusty.
Oh, he's certainly rusty. He's been patchy because he's been in and out of the side through injury. We expect his best football to be played certainly in the next 5 or 6 weeks before he finds his footing. And it was the same last year. I think he missed 5 or 6 games in a row last year, and it was a couple of weeks after that before he really found his niche again. I don't think anyone in today's football can actually find that. Interesting talking to the umpires. They also see the game as far more brutal than what it's been in the past. And we're talking about experienced umpires here.
Your team's ability, Nick, though, to withstand that brutality in the first 2 or 3 quarters and produce something in the final quarter, starting to look like a pattern. You did it against the Bulldogs, you've done it today, you were strong against Carlton and Essendon in the final term. Is that a lot about conditioning, or is it about composure?
I'd like to think it's. I think what I've rewarded the players with today. I don't think we did anything exceptional outside of the fact that they showed an enormous amount of pride. I think good football sides must have that pride of performance, and when you're challenged, and we were absolutely challenged today. This is not a 43-point victory. This is a get out of jail. This is an opportunity to wear down a side who are close to the most disciplined side I see in the competition over the last 4 or 5 years, and turn the tables on them to what they were doing to us. And regardless of the scoreline, it was so important that we were able to take away their initiative and do the things we spoke about pre-game, which all started to slot into place probably, well, certainly in the third quarter.
That notion of the game being more brutal, do your players back that up, or the umpires have said?
Oh, yeah. No, when they say the word brutal is on the body, not against one another, just on the body. Continual put your head over the ball, continue to go and get the football, the number of stoppages, the bravery shown going back into play, this sort of stuff. They and myself are not talking about what we do to an opponent or an opponent does to us. This is simply the energy required to run hard, run fast, get bumped, get tackled, massive number of stoppages, that sort of stuff.
What was the? Sorry.
I was going to say, coaches talk probably the same question about the sub being used tactically. Was that Alan Diding today, or was he the 22nd bloke?
I don't think the sub is a 22nd player anyway. I don't think it's fair to judge him as a 22nd player. What you do is, in a long year, you'd like to think that most players will go through. You don't have 22. 22 weeks, so you're only going to use it 22 times. We've played 28 players. There will be some double-ups, but not in a row. And I think what you've got to do is just got to keep... Like he had a quarter and a bit of football, which meant that he's now probably had that little break that so many players need. Brad Dix had a Steele Sidebottom. I think Steele Sidebottom has been there. And other such players, Goalsack, etc. So it's not a sin to be in that position, and it's not a penalty. It's just simply a rule, and you've got to abide by that rule.